And then there were 4 in the Major Series Lacrosse playoffs as the Brooklin Lacrosse Club takes on the Peterborough Lakers in this semifinal matchup between the number 2 seed Brooklin Lacrosse Club and the number 3 seed Peterborough Lakers. Game 1 of this series at the Iroquois Park Sports Center. Jack Moore alongside Andrew Osmond. And Andrew, really, these two teams neck and neck all season long, and we even saw it going into their first-round playoff matchups, both of them sweeping their respective series and putting up very similar statistics.
Yeah, very similar in the first round. For Brooklyn, they took the sweep over the Brampton Excelsiors, whereas for the Peterborough Lakers, they took the sweep over the Owen Sound North Star. So both teams kind of had it easy, as you can kind of see on your screen there. The stats, as Jack is suggesting, very similar in terms of goals a game, power play goals, not very many on either side of things, and in terms of the goals for per game as well, up there on about the season average as well. So neither team, running away with it in round 1 in terms of the offense. But we know both these teams are very solid defensively in the regular season. These two teams, played twice. They both took wins on the away floor in both those games. One was a 1-goal game, and the other one was a 2-goal game with scores under 10. So very tight games and low-scoring games is what we saw in the regular season from these two teams.
We talked to Joel Johnson, the head coach of the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, before today's game, and we asked him about the matchup coming in, and he said those stats are those stats, and today's a new day, and we got to go play the games that are ahead of us. And for Brooklyn, they came into this season, and general manager Gavin Prout put an expectation on this team to take that next step and be a competitive team. Well, they have home floor in the second round of the playoffs in the semifinals. They were the away team in the semifinals last year when they got swept by Peterborough, but they're looking to advance to their first Major Series Lacrosse Championship Series for the first time since 2013.
Yeah, looking to maybe change the history books a little bit here. Brooklyn is in the recent history books as well, and get back to those dynasty days Brooklyn is back in the 90s and so forth. Be on top of the Peterborough Lakers that have had their number in recent seasons and recent years, and going to a bunch of those MSL championships against the Six Nations Chiefs. Right now in Game 1 and Round 2 is the start of maybe that next chapter for Brooklyn. It starts here, and you got to go one game at a time. Best of 7 in round number 2, and Brooklyn's going to do what they can to maybe, put the history aside and say we're starting something new here, and we're going to be the new 1 or 2 seeds in the MSL moving forward.
And if you're Coach Hazen and the Peterborough Lakers, you're looking at this saying, yeah, we might be the 3 seed, but we're a team who's been to 8 straight Major Series Lacrosse championships. Before last season, they had won 4 consecutive league titles. They've been to 18 of the last 19 MSL finals. This is a team that knows how to get it done and to get into the big moments. They don't seem to be shy heading into this series, even though they're the road team and they don't have home floor advantage.
No, not at all. And even during the season, they at one point were 4-5, so under 500, and finished the year at 7-5, above 500. So really racked the back-to-back wins towards the end of the regular season to get themselves in an ideal seeding matchup in the 3rd seed. Before that, they were looking maybe at a losing home floor advantage in round number 1, but they did get home floor in round 1. But here they are, round 2. Gonna have to do some work on the road here in round 2 against these Brooklyn Lacrosse Club players, to walk away with the victory.
Joe Rezateris onto the floor, and he had 20 points in just 3 games, 7 goals, 13 assists in that first-round matchup against Owen Sound. No Tate Katoni here tonight for the Peterborough Lakers, so even more impressive or more expectations put on Mr. Rezateris to perform offensively here tonight.
Well, he's performed all season, being the leading scorer as well in the regular season for the Lakers, but also no Turner Evans in the lineup tonight as well. He's played in all 3 games in round 1, number 1, had 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. So another big name not in the lineup here for the Lakers. So Joe Rezateris, he did it in round 1. Can he continue to do it here in round number 2?
The Brooklyn Lacrosse Club making their way onto the floor as well. We'll step aside for the national anthem momentarily before we meet our starting goaltenders, but high anticipation coming in to this semifinal series between the 2 and the 3 seed who were neck and neck all season long, and the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club have the opportunity to put a statement win in game number 1 on home floor in what is one of the bigger crowds that we've seen this season here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center.
We see that a lot. The Peterborough fans travel well and travel in numbers, and they are here. You might have heard the cowbell earlier on. They're here. They'll be loud, and they're going to be supporting the Laker team.
Brooklin Lacrosse Club coaching staff being honored as the 2024 Major Series Lacrosse Coaching Staff of the Year. Of course, new coaching staff, Joel Johnson at the head of that for this Brooklyn team. But what an incredible feat this season for the team that only lost 3 games all year. They dropped both to Six Nations, and they split their 2 games with Peterborough. So for Brooklyn, really putting a statement on the league awards. And we'll step aside for O Canada before we meet our starting goaltenders.
O Canada, our home on native land, true patriot love in us command. With glowing hearts we see the rising star, true Lord, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Let's meet the starting goaltenders for Game 1 of this Major Series Lacrosse semifinal, starting with Landon Kells for the Peterborough Lakers.
Well, you see it there. Those are his playoff numbers. Only played in 1 game in round 1, and he took the victory and only allowed 4 goals and made 39 saves. The regular season, he only started in 5 of the contests. Doug Buchan will be backing up. He started 7 regular season games. So they're going for Game 1 here. Peterborough is with Landon Kells.
And on the other side of the floor, the Brooklin Lacrosse Club will go with the 2024 Major Series Lacrosse MVP in Zach Higgins.
And I think a lot of people assume that Zach Higgins would be getting the start here in Game 1 of round 2. 2 games played in these playoffs. He's 2-0, 4.5 goals against average in those 2 contests, and has a save percentage of .897. And important to note, Austin Shanks didn't appear to take warm-up, but he is in the lineup and on the floor here for Brooklyn. He led the team in scoring in round 1, so they're very thankful to have him here for game number 1.
Peterborough trying to advance to their 9th consecutive Major Series Lacrosse Championship Series, while Brooklyn looking to return to the big dance for the first time since 2013. We're underway, and Curtis Knight has the ball first for the Brooklin Lacrosse Club in this semifinal matchup. Brooklyn taking down Brampton in the first round in 3 games. Peterborough breezed through Owen Sound in a sweep as well in those best of 5s. This is a best of 7 series. All alone in front of the net, but unable to find Dawson Theed was Brooklyn. They have 5 to shoot. Long shot by Cook, he scores! And some aftermath after the play. Kiernan in front, went through Landon Kells after Tanner Cook opened the scoring 34 seconds into the game. And already tempers beginning to flare.
We didn't see a lot of this from Brooklyn throughout the regular season, but these games matter a whole lot more, and there's a lot of history between these 2 teams. But let's take a look at the opening goal of this round 2 series. As Jack said, near the end of the shot clock, Tanner Cook just goes to throw it on net and beats the goaltender Kells, and that's where it all starts. We see the ball come in here from the top, just sneaking past a couple defenders and past Kells, and then right there, as Connor Kiernan maybe got bumped in, the Peterborough Lakers didn't believe so, into Landon Kells after the goal, and they took exception, and we'll see a couple of offsetting penalties as a result.
Yeah, it did look like Jake Withers threw Connor Kiernan, the Brooklyn captain, into Landon Kells, and then Withers was the one who went after Kiernan. And now it's Dawson Theed and Jake Withers sitting in the box. So the captains for their respective teams, Robert Hope and Connor Kiernan, having the conversation with the officials. 34 seconds in, we've got a goal, we've got some rough stuff, and I think that sets the tone for what we expect from this series, Andrew.
Yeah, and there's only been 34 seconds ticked off the clock, and there's already been a lot going on. And for Brooklyn, Tanner Cook gets his first goal here, and it's first goal of the playoffs. Yeah, there were 3 games in the first round, but unable to score in those. He was tied for the team lead on Brooklyn in goals for the year with Austin Shanks with a total of 16. So, bit unorthodox for him to not score in round number 1, but he gets on the board here. And will we be having...
Well, it looks like Dawson Theed's getting 4 minutes for the extracurriculars, and Withers is going to get 2. So Peterborough's going to go to the first power play of this series. So Dawson Theed gets the extra penalty. Jackson Raposo will go serve, and Rob Hellier will start things up for Peterborough. He had 5 goals and 10 assists in the 3 games in the first round. Rezuteris back to Hellier, controlling it up top. Hellier working it with Holden Catoni. Rezuteris back to Hellier. Couldn't control it initially, gets it down low. Now it's Holden Catoni. Rezuteris back to Hellier. Steps in, that gets stopped by Higgins. Rebound pops out in front. Rezuteris will find it, and a fresh shot clock. Peterborough with a chance. Higgins another save, and Brooklyn picks up the rebound.
Joe Rezuteris with a couple of nice chances. Comes in with 4 power play goals in these playoffs so far. Almost made it 5.
Well, that's the Major Series Lacrosse MVP standing tall in the crease in the first possession of the game for Peterborough on the power play. And Brooklyn with 10 to shoot, throws a shot on Kells and picks up the rebound. Austin Shanks. Like you mentioned, he didn't take warm-up. We only saw 17 runners on the floor, so we were wondering if he was in the treatment room, if he was going to be able to play in the game, and he's battling for that ball 1-on-3 and killing time off the clock, and you hear the round of applause from the crowd and the bench. A great penalty kill there by the top scorer for Brooklyn in Austin Shanks as Rob Hellier back out there for the Peterborough Lakers. Hellier and Catoni. Holden Catoni up top. Rezuteris. Holden Catoni shoots, shouldered away by Higgins. Rebound picked up by Brooklyn. Jakowski's going to run the floor. Flips this one ahead, holding on to it is Ryan Wagner. Wagner drops this one off. Kyle Waters slowing things down with Riley O'Connor. Now it's Connor Kiernan, 10 to shoot. And this should end the Brooklyn penalty. Tanner Cook, only goal in the game so far. It came 34 seconds in. We're back to 5-on-5, and Brooklyn kills off the first power play of this series. We talked about it off-air pregame, Andrew, just how good this penalty kill is for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club.
Yeah, did a great job there as well. We saw Austin Shanks kill about 15 seconds by himself with 3 Lakers on him in the corner. When you see your leading scorer.
And Peterborough scores. Thomas Hogarth in front. They wanted to do it 5-on-5, and we've got a 1-1 game just under 3 minutes into the first period.
And Thomas Hogarth makes no mistake. He gets this ball, and he's going to beat Higgins, who maybe got a bit surprised that the shot was coming. You see him there in the center of the floor, beats his man, and just almost blindly throws it on net with that shot down low, and beats Higgins to tie it up at 1.
Mike Hazen not happy with the officials. They think Dawson Theed should stay in the penalty box. Remember, those penalties came just 2.5 minutes ago. Theed was given a 4-minute. The first 2-minute penalty expired. Honestly, I'm on the same side as Mike Hazen here. Dawson Theed should be in the penalty box until the 15:34 mark and a whistle, and he will trot back to the Brooklyn box.
And again, might talk it over here because in theory, Peterborough should have had a man advantage likely there and had a 5-on-4 for a power play.
Well, they had the 5-on-4 with the...
And this would have had Theed come out of the box scoring on the power play. So I think that's what they're discussing here.
Well, you had the offsetting 2, and Peterborough had the power play. Ooh, so Theed's back on the Brooklyn bench. All right, so some controversy with that early on. No explanation given to Mike Hazen. We're split up here as a chance for Peterborough, and Zach Higgins makes the save on Jake Withers in front. Long stretch pass down the floor, unable to connect with Liam Osborne. And Robert Hope will bring it back up the floor as we see some more rough stuff behind the play between these two teams. Owen Hiltz setting it up offensively for the Lakers. Hiltz off to Hogarth. Being watched closely, plays it into the corner. Rezateris in front, couldn't catch and shoot. Every check in this series is going to get finished. And sometimes in game 1 and 2, it's not about the hits that you throw and how they impact your opponent today, but in game 6 and 7 down the stretch of this series. Cook off to Kiernan. Brady Kiernan off to Connor Kiernan. Cook fires a long shot and Kells makes the stop. Cook had that first goal of the game from long range. Landon Kells makes the save on that one, and Peterborough back up the floor. Rezateris off to Holden Katoni. Now it's Hogarth stepping in, knocked off his stick, and that'll be picked up by Robinson. Justin and his brother Dylan playing their first season with Brooklyn this year after winning an NLL title with Buffalo. And the Six Nations Chiefs head coach John Tavares earlier this summer. Brady Kiernan flips this one in for Kyle Waters. Defender slips. Waters trying to spin away from Withers. Now that ball pops free and away goes Peterborough the other way. Alex Pace, he's got a 2-on-1. Armstrong stepping in, he scores! Third of the playoffs for Colton Armstrong. 4:59 into the first. It's 2-1 Peterborough.
Well, Colton Armstrong definitely uses that extra man as a bit of a decoy and fooling Zach Higgins just a little bit. You see the 2-on-1 here off the bench. Coming strong is Liam Osborne to try and break it up. He takes the man with the ball, and Higgins cheats a little bit down low to his right, thinking it was going to go to Alex Pace. But Armstrong hangs on and beats goaltender Higgins to give Peterborough their first lead of the game and the series.
And Peterborough will win the ensuing face-off. Matt Gilray picks up. And that pass gets knocked away. And Brooklyn will take over. Luke Keenan working it up the floor. Raposo. Off for Sean Wesley. We're seeing him on the floor for the first time here tonight. Curtis Knight. Shanks, Kiernan, and Theed out there as well for Brooklyn. Knight works that one off, and it goes out of the stick of Wesley. And Peterborough just comfortable killing out the Brooklyn shot clock as Jordan Sturris kicks that one over center floor, and Peterborough will get the restart. Rezateris into the middle, flips it down low. Hogarth gets stopped by Higgins, and the rebound picked up by Brooklyn. Mike Byrne off to Connor Kiernan. Kiernan gets the screen from Waters. Goes up top. Theed. Penalty coming up here to Peterborough. Tanner Cook will slow things down. 10 to shoot. As Higgins off to the bench, that pass gets intercepted by Gilray, and a tripping call going against Colton Armstrong, who gave Peterborough the 2-1 lead, will send Brooklyn to their first power play of the series down by 1.
Yeah, and it was in the middle of the floor off the ball where Armstrong got called for that. And we'll have a look here at Brooklyn's first power play of the game, and you'll see it here just off the ball. Maybe lost his man a little bit who was cutting towards the net and got the stick tied up in the feet of Kyle Waters, which tripped him up right there and led to this penalty here.
Riley O'Connor over the top, and that gets stopped by Kells. He's able to trap it down in behind his right leg. So nothing going in the first 15 seconds of the power play for Brooklyn, and Peterborough brings it up the floor. Holden Katoni, he scored the overtime winner in Game 4 last season in the semifinal series against Brooklyn to send Peterborough to the MSL title series against Six Nations. They would lose that series in 4 games after sweeping Brooklyn in round 1 last year. Of course, just 4 teams making the playoffs last season, all 7 making it this year. With Six Nations getting the first round bye, they picked up a 13-7 win in game number 1 against Coburg, who knocked off Oakville in 4 games in the first round. Tanner Cook to Shanks, back to Cook. Steps in, he scores! Second of the game for Tanner Cook. This time it's on the power play, and we're tied at 2.
Well, working it up high with Austin Shanks to get the goaltender Kells moving east-west a little bit and maybe a bit out of position. And we know Tanner Cook to have that big, powerful shot. And he works it here after getting the pass back from Austin Shanks right there at the top of that circle there and just fires it over the right shoulder of Landon Kells for Brooklyn's second goal of the game, and they tie it up. So both teams able to answer back after dropping the lead in this one. And like we said, it might be a tight game and a tight series through and through.
Mike Byrne with the face-off win for Brooklyn. Looked like a rugby scrum that you'd see at the Olympics going on right now, as opposed to a traditional lacrosse face-off. Curtis Knight steps in. He has Waters in front. He'll shoot, and that gets stopped by Kells. Tanner Cook played in 2 of the 3 games against Brampton in round number 1. 6 assists, but no goals. And 2 in the first period here against the Peterborough Lakers. Rezateris flips this one off. This'll wait. Hutchison down low. Hogarth a shot, and Higgins came sliding across to make the save. Now it's Raposo in transition for Brooklyn. He'll slow it down as they get the change. Connor Kiernan, Austin Shanks, Cook and Theed out there as well. Long shot kicked out by Kells. Rebound in the corner, it's Theed. Back up top, Riley O'Connor. O'Connor gets it back from Cook. Now it's Shanks. Steps in, cross floor, Theed. Down to the net, he'll step back in front, trying to back down his defender with 13 to shoot. He gets trapped down by 3 Peterborough defenders and loses the ball to Matt Gilray. Hiltz off for Holden Katoni. No Tate Katoni here tonight for Peterborough. He had 5 goals and 10 assists in 3 games in the first round for the Lakers. Ball swatted off the glass, but picked up by Brooklyn. They'll go away in transition. Kyle Waters gets a screen from Wesley. Waters to Wesley. O'Connor into the corner for Kiernan. Brady Kiernan up top, 5 to shoot. Back for O'Connor, down low to Kiernan, out in front, good stop by Kells. Kyle Waters on the doorstep, couldn't put it home.
Great ball movement there for Brooklyn, but Kells with an amazing save.
Jensen with a chance in transition, they score! Joe Rezateris gives Peterborough the 3-2 lead.
Well, he's leading this Lakers team in scoring all year long, including these playoffs. And right here on this play, gets the pass from Jensen, cuts towards the net, getting around defender Luke Keenan into some open floor and beating Zach Higgins for Peterborough's 3rd goal of the game. And again, restoring that lead that they had only just moments ago, really.
Not even midway through this first period, it feels like we've played 3 already. Brooklyn wins the faceoff and goes into the offensive zone. Ryan Wagner, Tanner Cook, Curtis Knight. Halfway through the shot clock for Brooklyn. Knight up top for Cook. Now it's Theed. Dawson Theed trying to spin away, gets a screen. Drives to the net. That shot stopped by Kells. It's the big bodies for Brooklyn trying to back down their defenders going to the net. Tanner Cook, Dawson Theed, Kyle Waters, all with some real good looks in this first period so far with 9:25 to go in the opening frame. Holden Katoni flips this one back. This'll wait. Rob Hellier. Katoni waiting, driving. His shot, he scores. Playing in just his second game of the postseason, Holden Katoni gets his fourth of the playoffs, and it's 4-2 Peterborough.
Lakers doing a good job moving the ball around and moving their guys around as a bit of a distraction, taking some defenders out of the play, working the ball up high, passing it off right here. It's just some floor opening up for Holden Katoni as some Brooklyn defenders got caught tracking their man too closely and not covering the guy cutting to the net in Holden Katoni. And it's now 4-2 Peterborough.
Jake Withers with the illegal movement on the face-off, so it's going to be Brooklyn ball off the draw. O'Connor plays it in for Curtis Knight. Knight out there with Shanks, Kyle Waters, and Brady Kiernan. O'Connor. Penalty coming up to Peterborough, but Shanks scores! Austin Shanks gets on the score sheet in this series. It makes it a one-goal game on the delayed penalty to the Lakers. And we're back to a one-goal game, an immediate response from Brooklyn.
Yeah, on the next possession, and we go back to the draw after the Peterborough goal, and the foul during the face-off led to the Brooklyn possession. And then up the floor, a couple moments later and a few passes later, it's Austin Shanks down low. You'll see the hit getting taken by Brady Kiernan, who falls to the floor. And then Austin Shanks takes advantage of that empty space right there where Kiernan gets clocked and then throws it past Landon Kells, who was late to that far post.
Running the switch in front, and Gilray just dropped his shoulder, but it opened up the lane for Shanks to score. It's a 4-3 game, 8:35 to go in period number one. Game one of this semifinal series. That shot gets stopped by Higgins in front. Good look there for Joe Reziteris, who already has a goal in this game. Now in transition, Tanner Cook. He's got two, looking for his third, but that one missed the net, and Peterborough quickly back up the floor. Jordan Sturris backs off for Gilray. That shot gets through, and Shaykowski lost his stick on the follow-through. It went into Higgins as he was making the save, and Brooklyn goes the other way in transition after Ryan Wagner picked up the loose ball. Dylan Robinson plays it off for Connor Kiernan. Kiernan trying to drive in, holding on to it, and lost possession as he was trying to get to the net. Good play by Taylor Jensen, who will run the floor quickly. His wheels already led to a goal here for Colton Armstrong in this first period. Now sets up transition as he goes for a change, and Hiltz on for Reziteris. Looking in front, Hogarth steps in, stopped by Higgins, and the rebound picked up by Mike Byrne. Austin Shanks for Curtis Knight. Back to Shanks up top. Shanks, cross floor for Dawson Theed. Trying to back down his defender. He scores! A powerful move, and he ties the game at 4.
Dawson Theed's fourth goal of these playoffs in just his third game of them. And as you said it, Jack, made a very powerful move out of the corner, spinning off the defender, and then beats Landon Kells down low between the legs as we have another look at it here. Just takes his defender, muscling him across the floor, and then beating Kells. And Brooklyn's tied it up yet again.
You get the sense, the way this first period's going, this is going to be a heavyweight tilt, and there's going to be no punches pulled in this series. Rob Hellier. Austin Hazen. For Hutchinson. Now up top, Hilt shoots. That gets stopped by Higgins. Rebound bouncing in front, and it gets picked up by Brooklyn. Raposo. Over center, and he'll go off for a change as Tanner Cook onto the floor. He's got 2 of the 4 Brooklyn goals in this one. Sean Wesley off for Cook. Riley O'Connor in the corner. Steps up top. O'Connor over the top, stopped by Kells. Kells' pass gets intercepted by Kiernan, and he scores! Go ahead and do it yourself. Brady Kiernan makes it 5-4 Brooklyn with 6:05 to go in the first period.
Taking advantage of the miscue there from Landon Kells. Grabs the loose ball and takes it himself. Does Brady Kiernan. And you can tell how much that goal means to him and this Brooklyn squad with that big fist bump here. We see Landon Kells looking to just casually pass it up the floor like they do all the time, but getting the stick on it there was Kiernan, and then Wines fires, picks his spot, and beats the goaltender with that big fist bump. And we got some stuff here going on before the draw as Brooklyn has regained the lead. Another lead change in this one.
Yeah, Robert Hope and Colton Armstrong are the two Peterborough Lakers back at that end. The referee standing right there as the pushing and shoving was happening with Liam Osborne. And Osborne was pleading his case. Hope picks it up and Osborne checking him. Armstrong. And that's going to be unable to get over center floor in time. They gave Peterborough an extra second, but they couldn't take advantage. Now here's Shanks. Off for Kyle Waters. Brooklyn getting some momentum. They've scored 3 straight. Can they make it 4? Pass cross floor between the legs. Austin Shanks gets turned aside by Kells. Rebound picked up by Brooklyn. They get a fresh shot clock as Kiernan takes a check in the corner. Dawson Theed works that one across to Kyle Waters. Connor Kiernan to Brady Kiernan. Theed driving in again. Dawson Theed steps in. That shot goes wide. And Kiernan had to go to the bench because his stick broke on the defender. Tanner Cook had just stepped off the bench, and they're going to call it for over and back. Oh, wow, lots going on that possession, and you can sense the emotions running high here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center. We still got 5 minutes to go in the first period and a delayed penalty to Brooklyn. Holden Katoni slowing things down as if Peterborough doesn't score here, they're going to the power play. Hogarth up top, now it's Rezateris stepping in. His shot gets deflected, goes high, and Mike Byrne picks up the rebound. So Peterborough going to their second power play of this first period with 4:43 to go in the opening frame and down 5-4.
Yeah, you could definitely feel the emotion between these two teams. We talked about the history going back decades, basically, between these two. And with Peterborough, what's on the line in terms of the last 9 years or so, and the history there to continue as we see the call being made there for the slash. And Captain Connor Kiernan wanted to have a few words with the official during that call. And now Joel Johnson getting told by the official to keep it a bit quiet there, or they might have to make another call.
Rob Hellier up top. Rezateris steps in, he scores. Immediate response by Peterborough. 8 seconds into the power play, and we're tied at 5.
Unsuccessful round 1, round 2 here on the power play. Peterborough strikes and ties it up at 5. And it's Joe Rezateris with his 6th power play goal and 2nd on the night. Just working it here around like you usually do on the power play and making a couple of moves and throwing that shot around Nick Chakowski and past the goaltender Zach Higgins for this 5th goal for Peterborough, and now another tie game. We talked, Jack, about maybe it being a tight series, a low-scoring affair. I don't know if that's the case.
No, I don't know if that's the case either. These offenses high-powered, as good as these two teams are defensively. Brooklyn gets possession and will take over at the offensive end of the floor. And you kind of expect this in the first game of the series, the emotions running high, the energy full. It'll be interesting to see the energy level not only through this game but through this series, if this level of excitement and emotion carries over through the rest of the series as Joey Capito works it up the floor. Not only phenomenal lacrosse player, but a 3-time Yates Cup football champion at McMaster and a Vanier Cup champion in 2011 with the Marauders as a defensive back. Rob Hellier flips this one down low. Hogarth gets stopped by Higgins. Good job moving cross crease by the Brooklyn goaltender to keep that one out of the net. Thomas Hogarth already with a goal in this game, and he's got 10 in the postseason so far. A dangerous threat in front of the net as Kells makes a save on Austin Shanks. We talked about Tate Katoni not playing in this game, but embarrassment of offensive riches is Armstrong already with the goal, stepping in, and he'll slow it down with Mitch Ogilvie in front of the net. And Colton Armstrong will just wait for some help as Rob Hellier back onto the floor with 15 to shoot for Peterborough. Holding Katoni out in front. Rezateras couldn't put that one home. The jump shot. Now it's Hutchison late in the shot clock as that one gets deflected and goes wide. Justin Robinson.
Yeah, Peterborough wanted a shot on net there, but the officials say it missed Zach Higgins and the post completely, so the shot clock continued and ran down there.
Connor Kiernan, penalty coming up to Peterborough. Tanner Cook trying to drive in. Higgins to the bench, extra attacker on for Brooklyn. A behind-the-back shot by Connor Kiernan gets turned aside by Kells. Brooklyn picks up the rebound and a fresh shot clock. 2:15 to go in the first period. If they don't score, they're going to the power play. Pass in front goes into the far corner. Kyle Waters. O'Connor. Wesley's shot gets turned aside by Kells and goes into the fourth row. So with 2:01 to go in the opening frame, another penalty coming up here to Peterborough is Andrew Vradenberg off to the box. And Brooklyn on their second power play of the game. They're 1 for 1 on the man advantage.
Yeah, just kind of ripped the stick out of the hands of the Brooklyn player there and got called for it. Very physical game so far here in the first period between these two. And not to say it's a bit surprising, but with the new format this year in the MSL, they only played each other twice. And also with this Brooklyn team, a lot of new faces on this squad. So maybe not a lot of on-floor history this season and hostility between the two, but the two names on the front of the jerseys, definitely a lot to ride and play for there.
Well, you talk about not a lot of players on Brooklyn having played with the team the last few seasons, but a lot of these guys are local Durham region guys. And you look at what Major Series Lacrosse has become over the last couple of years, a little bit more decentralized. You don't necessarily play for your hometown team. You can move around the province a little bit and play where you want to go. As Rob Hellier shoots, and that gets shouldered away by Zach Higgins. And a penalty coming up here to Brooklyn as Thomas Hogarth was tied up with Liam Osborne. And Osborne going to the penalty box. And it looks like Thomas Hogarth is going as well, so it's going to stay a Brooklyn power play. So both players getting a penalty, and Brooklyn lucking out a little bit on that one.
You might have seen on the bottom of your screen there on this call, Joel Johnson claiming the dive here, but you see them at the bottom of your screen, 19 Hogarth there, taking the stick up high from Osborne and then falling back, and the coaching staff up in arms, claiming for that dive, and they won that argument. So it will be, as Jack says, a 5-on-4 power play still here for Brooklyn. So those two penalties offsetting.
Back to the point about the players on Brooklyn being Durham region kids, they understand, having played Whitby Minor Lacrosse, what it means to play against Peterborough. So they have that sense going back to their younger days, even though it might not have come in Major Series Lacrosse. Gilray went down in front. 5-on-3 for Brooklyn before Gilray gets back up. They can't convert off the post. They pick up the rebound and a fresh shot clock. That shot gets through. It's Austin Shanks. 2 for 2 on the power play, and a 6-5 lead with 57 seconds to go in the first.
Well, you got a great angle of it there from behind the net. Working that ball around, getting the ball on the offensive rebound for that fresh shot clock to reset it all. And it's Austin Shanks from his office on that right side, faking the pass, taking the shot, beating Kells for the second time tonight for him. Faking behind the back shot, going down low, and gets Brooklyn the lead once again. 6-5 now with less than a minute to go in the first.
And possession of this ball is going to be important. It goes to Peterborough as Withers was knocked down hard by Mike Byrne. So Rob Hellier will get the restart for Peterborough. Hellier off to Catoni. Holding Catoni a long shot, and he scores. Wasted no time, and he ties us back up. Why work the ball around when you've got the bomb from Holden Catoni?
And why waste time when you don't have a lot of it here at the end of the first period? Just gets the ball as he comes off the bench. Wines, fires, gets it through two guys for Brooklyn through the traffic, beating Zach Higgins from well out to tie it up at 6 here in the first period. 12 goals now between the two teams in the opening frame so far with a few seconds to go.
Well, and that could be huge if Brooklyn gets possession like they do. If Peterborough can get a stop penalty coming up here. No, the referee put his arm down, and Brooklyn was in the crease, so Curtis Knight touching it in the Peterborough crease, and it's going to be Lakers ball. 5-second differential between game clock and shot clock. So if Brooklyn can get a stop in the rebound and call a timeout, they'll have the final possession of the opening period. Hiltz working it into the corner. It's Rob Hellier. Austin Hazen. Cross floor. Hiltz fires. That gets deflected into the corner. That loose ball bounces forward, picked up by Brooklyn, and they call timeout with 6 seconds to go in the period. And Brooklyn asking for one more to be put on the game clock, as it looked like they got that timeout called with about 7 seconds left before the timeout went, and they will add one more second to the clock. So final possession of the first period going to Brooklyn, and they have a chance to take the lead into the locker room.
Well, the guys on the floor all around the whiteboard right now, seeing what the play is to be drawn up, and will there be 6 Brooklyn players on the floor? My guess is yes. So are they drawing up a 6-on-5 play, their best one that they have, to go into the first intermission with the lead in this tight game? As right now, Mitch Ogilvie and the rest of the Lakers are just on the floor, not worried about drawing up a play defensively, just holding their zone or watching their man. And Zach Higgins will remain on the bench for the extra attacker.
So it'll be O'Connor, Knight, Connor Kiernan, Austin Shanks, Tanner Cook, and Dawson Theed for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, with 7 seconds to go in period number 1, a 6-6 first period. I think we're going to need to catch our breath at the intermission. Curtis Knight quickly up the floor. 4 seconds to go. Dawson Theed shoots, blocked in front, and that one did not feel good. Robert Hope took all of that right to the hip. And some more pushing and shoving after the final whistle went. Ogilvie in the middle of it with Austin Shanks. But the Peterborough captain, Robert Hope, just stood right in front of that Dawson Theed shot at the buzzer and took it on that hip, as we'll see it again. Dawson Theed, 15 on the near side of your screen.
Yeah, Robert Hope right in front as a second goaltender, just takes it on that right side of his hip or leg area.
That was a little more centralized than I thought it was.
We'll see it here from this angle. Number 18 is what you're looking at right in front of that circle in the crease in front of Kells. Looks to block it, turns to his left and gets it. Woo! Yeah, you're right, Jack. A bit more central than maybe we thought it was initially. But nonetheless, the captain for the Lakers is going to head off in a tie game after 1.
Well, if that first period tells us anything about how this series is going to go, buckle up. We're going to have some fun. 6-6, Peterborough, Brooklyn, Game 1, Major Series Lacrosse semifinal action from the Iroquois Park Sports Center. We'll be back with your first intermission after the break on RogersTV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. but because 3 out of every 4 Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare. She may not get the help she needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
Monsieur de Champlain, when I finish paddling through this wilderness and reach China, I shall greet them wearing this.
Monsieur Nicolet, your mission shall be for the honor of the king and the Holy Faith.
In the summer of 1634, Jean Nicolet set off from Quebec to find a trade route that would link Europe and North America with China.
But where is it? Further. I know the place you are seeking.
For months, Nicolet pushed through the wilderness, searching for the Western Sea.
Goja! Mississippi!
What did he say?
He says, Mississippi, great water.
Mississippi, the sea, China.
Jean Nicolet was wrong. It was Lake Michigan, not the Pacific. But others would follow his dream, Joliet, La Salle, the La Vérendrys, and they would map most of North America from the Rockies to the Gulf of Mexico.
With RogersTV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on RogersTV.
Inside the Iroquois Park Sports Center for game number 1 of this 2024 Major Series Lacrosse semifinal matchup between the Peterborough Lakers and the Brooklin Lacrosse Club. We're tied at 6 through 20 minutes of play. Jack Moore, Andrew Osmond with you at the intermission. And Andrew, as we take a look at the goals in that first period, if that's the intensity, the emotion, and the skill that we're going to see in this series, it's going to be a long one, and it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be very exciting. If you're a fan of lacrosse, this is going to be a series you want to watch every single game of. But let's take a look at the goals. And the opener came quick and early from Tanner Cook, and then some rough stuff there with Landon Kells, the goaltender, after the goal, and that came just 34 seconds into this series. And then following it up to tie it up was Thomas Hogarth for the Lakers from Thistlethwaite and Holden Katoni. And then up the floor in transition, Colton Armstrong using Alex Pace as a bit of a decoy, beating Zach Higgins for the first lead of the game for the Lakers. And then Tanner Cook responds once again for his second goal of the game and second goal of these playoffs after going goalless in round number 1. Following it up, though, to tie it up or to extend get the lead back was Joe Rezatera. It's a guy who likes to score and scores often. And then following that up was Holden Katoni to make it a 2-goal lead for those Peterborough Lakers at that point. But following up, it's 3 in a row from Brooklyn. Austin Shanks gets it started right there on a delayed penalty call in front. And then once again, Dawson Theed with the big move, spinning on the defender in front, using the big body he has to beat Landon Kells. And then on a miscue here from goaltender Kells, it's Brady Kiernan picking up the loose ball, picking his spot, firing, scoring, working that fist pump, and getting the Brooklyn squad fired up for the lead that they had at that point once again. Then Joe Rezatera quickly after that responds from Holden Katoni and Hellier. And then it was Austin Shanks faking that pass down low and beating Kells. And finally, as it was 6-5 trying to tie it up, it's Holden Katoni off the bench, wastes no time, and fires that past the goaltender Higgins to tie it up at 6. Did I recap it all okay for you?
I think you got most of it. Holden Katoni and Austin Shanks, 2 of the big stars playing in this series. 2 goals, 2 assists for each of them. Joe Rezatera with 2 goals in this game. Tanner Cook with 2 goals. And that's what it's going to have to be for these 2 teams. When their big players make plays, our big players have to make plays. And everybody stepped up in that opening 20 minutes of play.
Yeah, especially for Peterborough side of things. We mentioned no Tate Katoni in this one, no Turner Evans, but Joe Rezatera picks up right from where he left off in round number 1 and the series and the regular season, carrying this team on his back with a couple goals and a couple assists here in the opening frame. Both teams as well working it on the power play so far. Brooklyn's got 2 power play goals, and Peterborough's got 1 out of the 2 attempts they've had. So both teams able to do it when it matters, and a couple as well on with the man advantage in terms of the delayed penalty as well. Teams able to capitalize. So a lot of action in that first period, a lot of offense. I anticipated, I won't put you into this, but I anticipated low scoring based on the season, the way it went, and the first round between these two teams. I thought a bit low scoring, but what do I know? Here we are.
Yeah, well, and it's crazy to say we had 12 combined goals in the first period. We're tied 6-6 through 20 minutes of play. Both goalies played pretty well in that first period. Of course, the miscue by Kells on that Brady Kiernan goal that gave Brooklyn the 5-4 lead, but Peterborough able to rally around their goaltender and get them back into the game. And then, Zach Higgins facing some tough shots from this talented offensive team in the Peterborough Lakers, but he's also had a couple really good saves that have shown, hey, this is the league MVP this year.
Yeah, Zach Higgins standing tall. Thomas Hogarth for the Lakers has been a big presence in front of Higgins so far in that first period, getting right in front of him, getting those passes and throwing them on net. And Higgins, we mentioned all season, he's that athletic goaltender. He's positional, but he's also very flexible and very agile in that crease. And he had to make a couple of those athletic saves there on Thomas Hogarth in the first period to keep it 6-6. So Peterborough breaking down the Brooklyn defense a little bit here in that first period and getting right into the center of the floor and into Higgins' face for a couple of chances.
Peterborough and Brooklyn tied at 6 through 20 minutes of play. The winner of this 7-game series will go to the Major Series Lacrosse Championship Series. For Peterborough, they're hoping it's 19 of the last 20 years. For Brooklyn, trying to get back there for the first time in 11 years, the last 9 seasons. And through 20 minutes of play, we have no idea what's going to happen the rest of this game. Second period action coming up next. You're watching Major Series Playoff Lacrosse on Rogers TV.
And throwing them on net. And, Higgins, we mentioned all season, he's that athletic goal.
On the next episode of Cinema Scene, Mark Hansen and I stretch our long legs to discuss various things.
Greatness.
And a new legacy begins.
Absolutely amazing.
It has happened in Vegas.
It's not a destination.
And lightning has struck twice.
It is a continuous journey that never ends.
These are the moments you dream of. Stanley Cup champions.
In para hockey, the ice tilts in favor of men. But that will never stop us.
United by passion, battling for equity. We are the National Women's Para Hockey Team of Canada.
We're here.
We're hungry.
We're ready.
Ready to inspire.
Ready to leave our legacy.
Ready to be supported and make history. It's our time. Are you ready?
Public transit, garbage pickup, parks and recreation programs, snow removal on your street. How can you stay informed about these and other important local services? Tune to City Council coverage on Rogers TV. See your community leaders at work on Rogers TV City Council coverage.
I'm Rob MacArthur, host and producer of Helping Durham Region. Join me as we shine a spotlight on how Durham Region residents help each other. That's Helping Durham Region right here on Rogers TV.
Both teams making their way back onto the floor for the second period in this 6-6 tie through 20 minutes of play in Game 1 of this Major Series Lacrosse semifinal matchup between the Peterborough Lakers and the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Jack Moore, Andrew Osmond with you on Rogers TV, and we welcome those of you watching on your TV in Peterborough as well. Of course, the host site of the Ontario Lacrosse Festival that gets underway on Friday. Game 2 of this series will go in Peterborough on Thursday. Game 3 will go on Saturday night during the Ontario Lacrosse Festival that'll happen here over the course of a few weeks in Whitby. And you can already sense the anticipation from the members of the lacrosse community, one of the biggest crowds we've had here in the 3 seasons that we've been doing games for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club, here for game number 1 of this semifinal series, really Brooklyn had to work hard this season to prove that they were a team that could be competitive at the top of Major Series Lacrosse. They did. They came in second with a 9-3 record. Now the host team in this semifinal series against Peterborough. And the Peterborough Lakers are trying to return to the finals for a 9th consecutive season. Early shot from Peterborough, stopped by Higgins, and Brooklyn gets a stop on their first defensive possession of the second period. Tanner Cook, offensive end of the floor, 2 goals in that first period. Like Andrew said at the intermission, he went goalless in his 2 games played in the first round against Brampton. Now it's Shanks stepping in. That gets stopped, and the rebound knocked wide. Austin Shanks tried to pick the corner over Landon Kells, but unable to do so, as this second period is brought to you by the Bar Down Gastro Pub in Whitby. Rob Hellier in for Peterborough. Reziteris off to Holden Catoni. 2 goals, 2 assists. Now a pass in front, and Hazen hit the post. Rob Hellier and Holden Catoni trying to get Peterborough on the board and give them the lead. Justin Robinson off for Dawson Theed. Theed driving in. He'll go to the net with some speed, but Jake Withers knocked it out of his stick, and away goes Peterborough. Long change, second period here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center in Whitby. The benches in a different setup in Peterborough that you'll see in game number 2. The teams on opposite sides of the floor. Peterborough's is centralized, so same change distance in all 3 periods as Hiltz fires a shot wide on the far post. Curtis Knight off into the corner for Kiernan. Now it's Austin Shanks. Gets a screen, and that was too much by Curtis Knight on the screen on Joey Capito. And Peterborough quickly down the floor. They score! Taylor Jensen makes it 7-6 Lakers.
Jensen with his first goal of these playoffs. We know he has the speed, and he uses it in transition to his advantage here to open the scoring in the second period and give Peterborough the lead, 7-6. As you see it here from Gilray at first, and then down low to Jensen, who beats Zach Higgins, who stumbled a bit to try to make that save. So maybe lost his footing a bit, did Zach Higgins, on that save attempt. Nonetheless, it's past him for a Peterborough 7-6 lead.
Alex Pace picks it up off the face-off win for Peterborough. So Holden Catoni will take it back to the offensive end of the floor. Peterborough's led by 2 once in this game. They have a 7-6 lead, trying to get their second 2-goal advantage of the game. Rob Hellier shoots. That gets turned away by Higgins, and the rebound picked up by Brooklyn. Trying to take advantage in transition. Dylan Robinson slowing things down. Riley O'Connor gets the screen from Kiernan. O'Connor, 3 assists in that first period. Now it's Waters ringing iron. That's the one spot this year that we've talked about with Brooklyn through the course of the season. 7 games this year for Kyle Waters, just 6 goals and 3 assists. Feels like he's been all around it all season long, and just feels like one of those things that once he gets the first one, the floodgates will open. But a little bit snake-bitten in 2024 in Major Series Lacrosse for Kyle Waters. Kiernan fires his shot, turned away by Kells. Waters looking for the rebound. He picks it up, but it gets knocked free, and Peterborough back down the floor. It's Matt Gilray. Gilray driving in himself, stopped by Zach Higgins, and Brooklyn picks up the rebound. Stretch pass down the floor. Jensen gets his stick on it, and the loose ball picked up by Mitch Ogilvie. And he'll go back to Jensen. So Brooklyn trying to find Raposo. Take advantage of that long change in period number 2. Rob Hellier off for Austin Hazen. Steps in, he scores! He could be a sleeping giant in this series. Austin Hazen with his third of the postseason. It's 8-6 Peterborough.
And it was Hellier coming off of the bench there to pick up the ball by his bench and eventually working it to Hazen, who took that shot from well out again against Zach Higgins and beat him for the 8th Peterborough goal. As we have another look at it here, it'll come from the left side of your screen. Cuts to the middle of the floor. Has a lot of space to wind and fire it. As getting there late was Luke Keenan defensively for Brooklyn. And now it's 8-6, the score. Second time now Peterborough's had a 2-goal lead. And that's the biggest lead they've been able to have in this one so far.
Holding Katoni. Works it cross floor. Reziteris flips it down low. 8 seconds to shoot for Peterborough, but they step into the crease. It's Brooklyn ball.
Thomas Hogarth with a nice move to push his defender that was on him to the ground to open up the lane. He just couldn't get that pass in tight against Higgins.
Sean Wesley. On for Dawson Theed. Cook in front. Turned aside by the right hand of Landon Kells. Rebound picked up by Brooklyn. Shanks steps in. Turned aside by Kells again. Fresh shot clock. Another offensive rebound for Brooklyn. Tanner Cook. Into the corner for Wesley. Cross floor for Kiernan, and that goes into the corner. Picked up by Dawson Theed. Theed driving in. That one stopped by Kells. Trapped in between his stick and the floor. A big stop there by the Peterborough goaltender with Brooklyn pressing but unable to get anything. We're 5.5 minutes gone in period number 2. Both goals in this second period have gone the way of the Lakers. Hiltz, cross floor. Now that shot gets through. Thomas Hogarth. And it's 9-6 Peterborough.
It all starts from a strong defensive stand for the Lakers, keeping Brooklyn to the outside on their end of the floor. And they work it up the floor and get their big guys on. And it's Hogarth there, as you see, from, again, well out beating Higgins. Maybe some traffic in front, unable to see that one, but quite a number of the Peterborough goals are coming from well out from the net. 9-6 now. Brooklyn has not scored in this second frame so far.
Largest lead of the game for either side as Gilray gets it to Hiltz. That gets shouldered away by Higgins, and away goes Brooklyn. Curtis Knight in transition. Peterborough's also been much better in the face-off circle in this second period than Brooklyn has. Pretty even in period number 1 as Kyle Waters' shot gets deflected off the back of a Laker and goes into the protective meshing and out of play. Tanner Cook driving in. His shot gets turned aside by Kells. Tight window to get that shot through. And a stretch pass down the floor for Armstrong. He lost it into the far corner. And a penalty coming up here to Brooklyn. So with a 3-goal lead, they'll have a 6-on-5. The Lakers will. And if they don't score and take a 4-goal lead, they'll go to their third power play of the game. That shot stopped by Higgins. Catches it in the netting, and
this is going to be the third power play for Peterborough. They scored on their last and second power play. Go to the box is Sean Wesley for 2 minutes or less. As you get a look at Justin Robinson jogging off the floor.
Holding Katoni and Rob Hellier setting up on the power play. Hellier works it off. Pass in front gets turned aside by Higgins. Here's Holding Katoni. Hellier. Hogarth. Brooklyn called for the illegal substitution, trying to slow down that Peterborough transition. Katoni. Hellier fires. That goes wide. Shaykowski picks up the rebound. He'll go up the floor 2-on-2. And it's Dylan Robinson in the far corner. Austin Shanks fresh off the bench. 20 seconds on the shot clock here for Brooklyn on the penalty kill. Down 9-6. Peterborough has all 3 goals of this second period. They've scored 4 unanswered. Shanks in front. Kiernan scores! What a pass! What a shot! What a goal! Short-handed. The captain, Connor Kiernan. And we're back to a 2-goal game. Oh, that was pretty, Andrew.
That was gorgeous for Kiernan's first goal of this postseason. And the captain does it just like they drew it up. Cutting towards the net late in the shot clock, grabs the ball with one hand on his stick. Didn't see it there, but with that one hand on his stick, he goes cross crease with that shot to beat Landon Kells and score shorthanded.
Hit the post and bounced in as Mike Byrne couldn't find it off the faceoff, and Matt Gilray picks up for Peterborough. Still on the power play here, up by 2. But what momentum killing there for Brooklyn to try and stop the run here for Peterborough, and now trying to do what they do best, which is kill a penalty. Lethal attack on the power play from Peterborough. Katoni scores! That's a hat trick for Holden Katoni. And it's a 10-7 lead for the Lakers.
And you can see Holden's happy about that one with that big smile on his face with his teammates and a pat on the top of the helmet from his teammates after that one, getting it back, right back like he's done before. Earlier in this game, he scored just seconds after Brooklyn did, and he does so once again here. Gets that pass far, feed across the floor. Higgins came across, knew exactly where it was going to be, and he just got beat clean by Holden Katoni.
Looked like Higgins thought it was going to go up high, and he was late to drop down. As Katoni finds Joe Rezateris. Pass in front for Austin Hazen. Ball rolls off to the near boards. Thistleweight. Back cross floor is Hazen. 5 to shoot. That gets turned aside by Higgins. 11.5 to go in period number 2. A 10-7 lead for Peterborough. Holden Katoni with a monster game so far offensively, with 3 goals and 2 assists. Now it's Riley O'Connor. That gets turned aside by Kells and out of play, so it'll stay Brooklyn ball. Dawson Theed. Backing down Alex Pace. Now opens up. That shot gets deflected, goes wide. And they will say they did get deflected, so no over and back against Brooklyn. And they won't get the shot clock reset. So 7 seconds to shoot. A pass into the near corner for Connor Kiernan. Theed in front, can't get it away. And that's a shot clock violation against Brooklyn as Jensen was spun around by Theed trying to go away in transition. That's one of the faster transition players in this game for Peterborough, but they will get the ball back. Rezateris finds Holden Katoni. Into the near corner, here's Owen Hiltz. He slips in the corner, and Shaykowski able to pick up the loose ball and flip this one ahead. Dylan Robinson, Holden Katoni, we talked about monster offensive game so far. Last year in that game 4, he had the overtime winner to send Peterborough to the championship series against Six Nations. It was his 4th of the game. Shows up in big games for Peterborough. And the Lakers pick up this loose ball, and they're up the floor. Vredenberg in transition. His pass down low just missed. He was looking for Mitch Ogilvie. Back door, couldn't find him. Now a collision right at center will give Brooklyn the ball. And another bump there between Adam Peroni and Andrew Vredenberg. Austin Shanks. Off for Tanner Cook. Shanks gets it back, slips inside. He'll step back around Hope. Now it's Kiernan looking for his second of the game, but couldn't find it. And Peterborough picks up the loose ball and back up the floor. Colton Armstrong. Thistleweight finds Austin Hazen. Rob Hellier Holden Katoni. His shot gets deflected, goes high. No, it didn't get deflected, so that'll be over and back against Peterborough.
Yeah, Brooklyn defender got a stick on that shot to cause it to go high and wide off the glass and all the way down the floor. It's been some time without a goal here. Not that long, but in this game it feels like it's been an eternity without someone scoring.
Especially the way that first period went. Here's Austin Shanks. There's a guy you want to get one, it's him for Brooklyn. He's got 2 in this one. Catch and shoot for Brooklyn, and that goes wide, but Connor Kiernan able to pick it up. 10 to shoot for Brooklyn. Riley O'Connor over the top, stopped by Kells. Rebound knocked free, and Kells played it. Peterborough played it into their own crease, so it will be Brooklyn ball with a fresh shot clock. They've had a few of these sustained pressures in the offensive zone, picking up offensive rebounds, and Kyle Waters just too hard driving into the net, knocked down Jordan Sturris. And I was just about to say, in this second period, they've had a few times where they picked up offensive rebounds, but they haven't been able to convert offensively. And that time they turn it over, but they get it right back on the pass interception by Dylan Robinson on Holden Katoni. Now it's Austin Shanks stepping in, shouldered away by Kells. Rebound picked up and knocked to the floor was Jackson Raposo. So that'll be a foul against Peterborough and give Brooklyn back the ball. And Raposo slowly making his way to the bench, but gets on, and Dawson Theed fires a shot. Rebound picked up by Cook. Back to Theed. He scores! We've got some pushing and shoving after the fact as Austin Shanks went down in the crease. But Brooklyn might want to start playing some more bully ball with the big boys in front. Dawson Theed makes it a 2-goal game.
After it's all settled, players will go to their benches, and we're going to get a penalty here to Brooklyn, I think. But let's take a look here. See that shot come in from Dawson Theed just outside the crease, and just after the whistle, I think it was Kyle Waters who got pushed around in the crease with Landon Kells. Hard to tell from our camera out here. But we're going to get a couple of penalties, I believe, offsetting. We'll find out here as Dylan Hutchison and Kyle Waters will sit after that scrum. But they're not calling it, the officials aren't calling it from what we saw in the replay after the goal. It took place during the replay on the floor as players were heading to their benches. And that's, you see Connor Kiernan pointing. He's addressing that moment there. And we will have 5-on-5 lacrosse here as Peterborough has that 2-goal lead.
Joel Johnson's argument right now to the officiating crew is that there was a hand up, and so a penalty against Peterborough got negated because of the goal. As Gilray picks up off the face-off, stopped by Higgins, and he finds the rebound. So the original penalty got negated because of the Brooklyn goal, and then there was offsetting minors after the fact, like you mentioned. While we were in replay, it was Hutchison and Waters getting offsetting minors. Austin Shanks got popped in the head as Hiltz fires one and rings iron. Oh my goodness, what a rocket of a shot that shook the net off the floor. And Peterborough will pick it up back in their own zone.
I don't think I've seen a ball ricochet that hard off a post before.
That went all the way back to the end boards in the Peterborough end.
It's further than I could throw it, let's be honest.
Now a behind the back shot attempt by Thomas Hogarth gets deflected and goes wide. Away goes Brooklyn in transition. Pass off to Shanks, and he shoots it just wide. Off the far post, it goes out of play, and it'll stay Brooklyn ball.
Shanks bangs the glass after knowing he missed an opportunity there on the far side.
He just had to step in behind the defender and tried to go off the far post and in past Kells, but he just missed. He's got it on the near side. Austin Shanks. Armstrong steps in. Ball pops free. Away goes Mitch Ogilvie. He'll have a breakaway. Being chased down by Kiernan. He slows up, drops it for Jensen. He scores. Second of the game for Taylor Jensen. And it's back to a 3-goal advantage for Peterborough.
Well, in transition there quickly, we talk about the speed here from these Laker transition players. And it was Jensen up there again on the rush, taking the pass for the second time, but being up there all the way next to Higgins to take the pass and get the shot. You see him follow up on the left side of your screen. He'll appear as he gets that pass in stride, takes the shot, beats Higgins, hits the back of that twine, and it's a 3-goal game once again, 11-8 Peterborough.
Played collegiately at Rochester Institute of Technology. Plays for the Rochester Nighthawks in the NLL. Goalless in the first round of the playoffs for the Peterborough Lakers. He's got 2 here in game number 1. Now Reziteris throws down Liam Osborne, and it's going to be Brooklyn ball. Reziteris didn't like that there wasn't a call against Osborne. Is falling to the ground was Connor Kiernan. Shanks through a cross check right in front of the Peterborough net. You can sense this chippiness starting to pick up. Intercepted by Brooklyn. Austin Shanks steps in. Shot goes high and wide. We talked about it earlier in this period, Andrew, taking advantage of opportunities, and Brooklyn has just missed on a couple, and the last 2 have both come off the stick of their most trusted offensive player, Austin Shanks.
Yeah, that's the guy who you want to take advantage of those. Just missing the net a couple times.
Rob Hellier being watched by Peroni. He gets a screen from Hogarth. Hellier fires a shot, goes wide into the crowd, and out of play, it's Brooklyn ball. Wesley. Shanks, quick shot. That gets turned aside by Kells off the stick of Riley O'Connor. Brady Kiernan off for Dawson Theed. Theed underneath, and that gets turned away by Kells. Withers trying to pick up the loose ball. It's Theed getting it in the corner. Dawson Theed trying to drive in. Armstrong knocks it free. It's loose in his feet, and Withers is the one who finds it. Backs away from Theed. Then Theed hits him into the end boards as Armstrong gets this up the floor for Peterborough. High intensity, high emotion, 11-8. Game 1 of this series. All important game 1. Brooklyn trying to defend home floor as the home team, as the second seed in the regular season, as Hellier gets turned aside and then thrown into the end boards. He's slow to get up. Now it's Curtis Knight as Hellier makes his way over to the Peterborough bench. Brooklyn with it in the offensive end. Cook to Wesley. Sean Wesley down low, quick passing. Here's Curtis Knight behind the back, and that gets turned aside by Kells. Rebound into the far corner. Knight couldn't find it in front. Loose ball knocked free to Tanner Cook, and a fresh shot clock. That was a massive hit on Rob Hellier in behind the Brooklyn net. Peterborough fans in attendance wanted a call. They didn't get one. Kiernan underneath, turned away by Kells. And he's been really solid here in period number 2 after allowing 6 in the first.
And again, another Brooklyn possession offensively where they extend their possession and can't convert.
Empty offensive possessions with 2 shot clock resets have been a standard practice here in the second period for Brooklyn, and that's not going to get you wins against Peterborough or Six Nations in the playoffs. Transition chance. Here's Osborne. That one misses just wide on the near side, and that goes off the rafters and out of play. So it's Peterborough ball as Jake Withers. (11-8) lead for the Peterborough Lakers with 2.5 minutes to go in period number 2. A 5-2 advantage in goals in this middle frame by Peterborough as that shot masked away by Zach Higgins. Nick Shakowski gets it up the floor. Ryan Wagner. Off to Connor Kiernan. Tanner Cook. 2 minutes to go in the second period. 15 to shoot for Brooklyn. Sean Wesley over the top. And that one stopped by Kells. Looked like it might have gone through, but Kells able to trap it down. Holding Katoni. Big game here. Playing in just his second game of the playoffs. He's got 6 goals. Now a chance for Peterborough in front. And Hogarth turned aside by Zach Higgins. Higgins making some key stops as Hogarth still down on the floor in the Brooklyn crease. Slow to get up, so Brooklyn has a 5-on-4 the other way if they hurry before Hogarth gets off. Theed off to Wesley. He shoots. That one goes wide as well and into the Brooklyn bench.
Again, another missed opportunity there for Brooklyn. Had that advantage with Hogarth down and struggling to get off the floor, and they missed the net on the shot, and then it ricochets out of play. And turns it right back over to the Lakers.
Well, if that was on the other side of the floor, Peterborough was actually holding Katoni on the bench, trying to get him to go in transition if they could. He's got it now in the offensive zone, and he gets turned away by Higgins. 45 seconds to go in period number 2. Brooklyn trying to pull within 2. It's 11-8 Peterborough. Pass in front for Shanks, and he missed again. Just missed the far post again for Austin Shanks. More than a few times in period 2. Now it's Tanner Cook driving in. And that one just rolls on to Kells. And Peterborough takes a timeout with 20 seconds to go. They'll try and take a 4-goal lead into the second intermission.
Yeah, Tanner Cook there just knowing the shot clock was down as he's cutting to the net. Just trying to get it on net and either get a goal if he can or maybe get a rebound for a fresh shot clock and then call the timeout to drop a play. But Kells makes the stop, as you see him there, as he heads off for some water. And we'll see if he stays on the bench as well for the extra attacker here with 20 and a half seconds to go as Peterborough is drawing something up at the far end on the right end of their bench. Offensively, Brooklyn as well talking things over defensively here. Last time in the first period, it was Brooklyn who took the timeout with the offensive chance, and Peterborough was just on the floor not drawing anything up, whereas Brooklyn, as you see here, taking the time to go over a couple of things defensively to try to keep this a 3-goal game going into the third period. You see Higgins now heading off, and Landon Kells will remain on the bench.
Thomas Hogarth back on the floor for Peterborough after slow to get up, but he is limping a little bit here. So he will take this final possession. He'll start behind Zach Higgins as Rob Hellier will start back from his own zone. But we'll see how healthy is Hogarth coming out to start the third. This is the final possession of period 2, 11-8 Peterborough, leading Brooklyn late in the second period, game 1 of the semifinal series. Hiltz, pass in front, bounces free. Curtis Knight has time to shoot, and he didn't get there in time, and he hit the post.
And he looks up smiling as well, knowing he just missed that empty net.
Well, and everything pointing in his favor on that one, too. He had the score clock ahead of him. No clock in the middle of the floor here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center. It's on that end wall. So he was able to see the clock, but unable to put that ball in. And Brooklyn will head to the third period, down 11-8 to the Peterborough Lakers, who outscore Brooklyn 5-2 in period number 2. And Peterborough trying to take game 1 on the road against the Brooklin Lacrosse Club in this semifinal series, as Brooklyn is the number 2 seed in the Major Series Lacrosse playoffs. Peterborough, the number 3 seed. Regular season game on this floor between these two teams in the regular series season, 7-6. We've got a lot of goals in this one. We'll head to your second intermission after the break. You're watching Major Series Lacrosse on Rogers TV.
I walk for my partner who is on dialysis.
I walk in memory of my dad.
I walk for all those waiting for a kidney transplant.
I walk because I live with kidney disease. When you participate in the kidney walk or support someone who does, you're taking steps and providing hope to thousands of Canadians living with kidney disease. Behind every step, there's someone we walk for.
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for?
Register or donate at kidneywalk.ca.
Hey, what? My line.
Welcome, Mrs. Baker. Those folks over there need to guess your extraordinary occupation.
Are you an entertainer, Mrs. Baker?
Yes.
Do people come to watch you, perform?
Yes.
Do you travel for work?
Yes, I do.
Do you ever wear a special type of costume?
Yes.
Is your job, physical?
Yes, indeed.
Are you a member of a team?
Yes.
Are you a professional baseball player?
Yes, I am.
Created during the Second World War, the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League included 68 Canadians. One of its brightest stars was my mother, Saskatchewan's Mary Bonnie Baker, a pioneer for women in sports.
Kids enjoying some frisbee toss competition in the second intermission as the Peterborough Lakers leading the Brooklin Lacrosse Club 11-8 through 40 minutes of play here at the Iroquois Park Sports Center. Jack Moore alongside Andrew Osmond. Andrew, we were 6-6 after 20 minutes. A lot of high-intensity offensive power. Game slowed down in period number 2. Brooklyn out shooting Peterborough, but only able to get 2 goals in that middle frame, and they have a 3-goal deficit heading into the third.
Yeah, they had their chances, and it's not for a lack of trying. It's really for a lack of shots on net. You did say, though, that Brooklyn did outshoot Peterborough in that period, 21-16, but there were the number of second chance opportunity shots that Brooklyn had where they missed the net, it would ricochet out of play, and they turned the ball over, and that's the difference right now in this 11-8 game.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from period number 2, and it was Peterborough early and often in that middle frame, outscoring Brooklyn 5-2 in the second.
Well, the period started 6-6, and it became 7-6 from that guy, Taylor Jensen, his first of 2 in this game, and then right there, a powerful shot from Austin Hazen, and following up is Thomas Hogarth from well out, and those are the 3 that opened the lead in a wide margin of 3 at that point, but then a great goal there from Connor Kiernan with one hand on his stick, getting the feed from Austin Shanks. Then Holden Katoni comes back like he's used to doing to respond, and following it up was Dawson Feed for Brooklyn, and then the last goal was Taylor Jensen streaking down the floor yet again for his second goal of the game, second goal of these playoffs. And I don't know if anybody predicted that he'd be one of the top goal scorers in this game, only coming in the regular season with 1 goal on the season in 8 games played. But here he is in this game with 2 to have the lead at 11-8 for Peterborough.
One of the other top goal scorers in this game, Holden Katoni. He's no stranger to being a top goal scorer when he plays. Only played in 1 game in the first round series for the Peterborough Lakers against the Owen Sound North Stars when they swept them 3-0. He had 3 goals and 3 assists in that game. Tonight, we're through 40 minutes of play. 3 goals, 2 assists. So he's already got 11 points in these playoffs, and he's not even done game number 2.
No, and he's the guy that definitely knows for this Peterborough team how to get to that MSL finals. He's done it before. He wants to do it again and wants to be back there. And twice now tonight, he's responded right off the next possession off a Brooklyn goal. So not only is he knowing what it takes, but he's putting the team on his back, doing what he's got to do to keep Peterborough in it, get the lead back, tie the game up, whatever it takes, as soon as possible before this game gets out of hand. In lacrosse, we know goals can come quick and often. We saw 3 goals back-to-back on both teams. First, it was Brooklyn in the first period. This second period, it was Peterborough, so you know that at any time, any side could take it away and run away with it. So Holden knows that. He's like, we got to put a stop to this, put the plug in now before it gets out of hand, and he's done so a couple times tonight.
We've talked about it throughout the course of this season, but you really see periods in games go the way that the face-off circle goes. In the first period, pretty well even when it came to face-offs. We had a 6-6 tie. Second period, really controlled by Jake Withers and the Peterborough Lakers. Mike Byrne and Adam Perrone struggling in the face-off circle. How important is it that those two get going and get possessions off of the start of the period and after goals to give Brooklyn a chance to gain or kill some of Peterborough's momentum?
Well, it's really important because you got to get back. Like we mentioned, Holden Gattoni's able to do that, but you can only respond right off the next possession is if you win that draw. So that's where that's really important. And in the first period, Brooklyn got a break off the opening draw, but it was because of the Withers foul in the face-off circle that gave Brooklyn the ball. So Brooklyn ended up actually losing that draw, but got the ball back on the foul and scored off that. So even the chance that they did have, they didn't really earn that in the draw from a face-off point of view. So yeah, really stepping up there from Mike Byrne and Perrone is going to be important for Brooklyn to get the ball back after they maybe give up a goal, to respond as quickly as possible. And then that's how you get those back-to-back-to-back goals and string them together, is by maintaining possession. And it all starts from that first draw.
Capitalizing on second chance opportunities as well is going to be important here for Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know Austin Shanks is probably kicking himself in there. Joel Johnson as well might be saying to Austin Shanks, man, just get it on net. That's a couple times now in that period where Austin Shanks had the ball on his stick, clear shot on net, and it's a guy that can score from pretty much anywhere in any way he has to. And a couple times with the extended shot clock, he's just missed the net, and a few times it's ricocheted out of play, giving the turnover back to the Lakers. So for Shanks, it's got to be on net, as well as guys like Cook and Kyle Waters to step up and get those shots on net. And when you have those offensive possessions, make the most of it. And if you get the rebounds, again, make the most of it and don't put it to waste with a shot wide of the net.
20 minutes to go in this one. The Peterborough Lakers with an 11-8 lead. So a hill to climb here for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Heading into the third, we have third period action coming up for you next. You're watching Major Series Playoff Lacrosse on RogersTV.
Heartbeat of Mother Earth, I feel you and embrace your warmth. I see you dancing through the trees. Your song floats on the summer breeze. Community, we come together. We are the voice of our ancestors. Thankful for how much you bless us. Feel the thunder in the drum. All our voices sing as one. Feel the power, feel the pride. Feel the drumbeat deep inside. Feel the boom, feel the bass. Let's let go of time and space. It'll make you dance, it'll make you sing. Ode Wegun, Wedok Wishin. The drum will lead you, take you far. Always remember who you are.
Mitch Ogilvie had the assist on the second Taylor Jensen goal of the game when he led the charge in transition and then dropped it off to Jensen, who hadn't scored yet, and Jake Withers, who's been a menace in the faceoff circle for the Peterborough Lakers, are ready to start period number 3 as the Lakers are up 11-8. Brooklyn making their way back onto the floor with a hill to climb, and Zach Higgins is trying to keep his team in this one. The 2024 Major Series Lacrosse MVP will have to have a big third period to get his team an opportunity to gain some momentum and climb back from this 3-goal hole. We talked about faceoffs being an important piece here, and this loose ball will be picked up by Brooklyn. Here's Dylan Robinson, quickly up the floor. Shaykowski shoots. That gets blocked by Ogilvie. Rebound picked up by Curtis Knight. And Brooklyn will go off and get some changes to get their offensive players on the floor. So we talked about it at the end of that second intermission, the importance of the faceoffs. And here's Curtis Knight shooting, and that gets stopped by Kells.
Kells looked behind him there ever so briefly, Didn't know if it was under him, but he did have it trapped. He got it off the open, up the floor.
This will wait. First offensive possession of the third period here for Peterborough. Rob Hellier. Up top, changing direction, and he scores. Making him pay. Rob Hellier from up top gets his first of the game. And Peterborough has that 4-goal advantage they were looking for at the end of period number 2.
And it was another extended offensive zone time for Brooklyn where that shot was stopped. And on the next one for Peterborough, they made no mistake. Their first offensive possession of the period equals a goal. That time from Hillier. And again, Withers in the draw trying to control it, but it's Brooklyn controlling it for the second time, and they go up the floor in numbers.
Osborne, Robinson, Osborne shot, rolls through the crease, but it gets knocked down by Withers as it got through Kells. Rob Hellier, the captain of the Vegas Desert Dogs. Of course, former Brooklyn great Sean Williams, the head coach there. Hellier spent a lot of time with the Toronto Rock in the National Lacrosse League. Getting his first of the game is Brooklyn trying to go in transition. Looking for a chance. Raposo gets turned away by the leg of Kells, and the rebound picked up by Jensen.
Nice save there by Kells, getting that leg, his left leg on the floor to make that stop.
Already some big saves here in the third. We're about a minute 45 gone in this third period. He's got 3 saves. He made 19 in period number 2. We talked about how close these two teams are in statistics down the stretch of the regular season, and then the first round, the difference might just come down to who has the better goaltender on a given night. And right now, Landon Kells putting his mark on this one with his 4th stop of the third period is Jordan Sturos. Works it off for Holden Katoni. The loose ball gets poked free, and away goes Brooklyn. Ryan Wagner has Shakowski going to the net. Wagner off for Tanner Cook. Cook gets it back. He scores. It's the hat trick for Tanner Cook, and Brooklyn is back within 3.
Brooklyn wasting no time on that one. They move it up the floor quick. They get the guys on the floor they want. Not even a full change in before Tanner Cook's able to get that shot past Landon Kells. And as you see in this replay, Tanner Cook, right side of your screen, gets the ball here. He picks his spot. He sees it wide open there, top right corner, and sneaks that one in to get the 9th goal on the board for Brooklyn and get it back to a 3-goal game. Just see another look at it here from behind the net, just picking that spot, top corner, beating Kells clean for his 3rd goal of this game.
All 3 coming at that end of the floor as well. Quiet in period number 2 like Brooklyn's offense was. But obviously a big part of moving the offensive machine for Brooklyn. And that one goes into the Brooklyn bench. Miscue by Matt Gilray, and it's Brooklyn ball.
And the officials are calling this one back. Didn't want them to move it up too quickly there as the ball did go out of play. And they got Shanks on the floor now.
Good opportunity here for Brooklyn, trying to gain some momentum. Cross floor, O'Connor scores! Back to back, and just like that, it's a 2-goal game. Riley O'Connor gets his first of the night.
Well, in back-to-back offensive possessions, Brooklyn is able to capitalize and get this lead down from 4, which it was earlier on in this period, down to now just 2 on Riley O'Connor's first goal of the postseason as he just cuts to the middle of the floor here gets the pass from Austin Shanks for Shanks' 6th point on the night.
So now you got to hope for some momentum. Brooklyn wins a face-off, and that'll be over and back. So we talked about the importance of winning face-offs, and they turn it over immediately. Here's Colton Armstrong. On the restart for Peterborough, knocked away by Curtis Knight, and he picks it up for Brooklyn. All right, so they take it right back. So the unforced error on the turnover. And Curtis Knight took a shot from Colton Armstrong. Joel Johnson wanted a call. He doesn't get one. Pass in front. Kyle Waters turned away by Landon Kells. Another good look for Kyle Waters. Jordan Sturris. Off for Mitch Ogilvie. Adam Thistlewaite. Being watched by Adam Perrone. Now a switch off is Dylan Robinson. Watching Thistlewaite, who bounces this one off. Hiltz fires his shot off a body and wide. 5 to shoot here for Peterborough. As a turnover, as Brooklyn picks it up. No shot on that possession for the Lakers. Mike Byrne drops this one off for Connor Kiernan. Back for Austin Shanks. 6-point night for Shanks, like you mentioned. Connor Kiernan. Up top, Tanner Cook. He's got 3 goals in this one. Pass for him goes off to the far boards and into the third row. It went off Shanks' stick and out of play, so they'll give it back to Captain Robert Hope in the Peterborough Lakers. Austin Hazen finds Holden Catoni. Joe Rezateris. He'll slip down and drive to the net before being forced into the corner. 10 to shoot for Catoni. He'll rip one. Higgins makes the save. Rebound pops out in front. Rezateris couldn't find it. Catoni turned away from the net, picks up the rebound, and a fresh shot clock for Peterborough. Catoni lost the ball. 3-on-1 the other way for Brooklyn. A chance, now it's a 4-on-1. Slowing it down, Brady Kiernan steps in and gets turned away by Kells, but Brooklyn will get it as it goes out of play.
Yeah, great save there from Kells. 4-on-1 developing, and he makes the stop and gets it out of play as well to buy some time for his Peterborough Laker defenders to get on the floor.
You don't often see a 4-on-1 in box lacrosse, but that's what we got. Here's Sean Wesley and Brooklyn trying to pull within one. Riley O'Connor lost the handle on it, and away goes Peterborough. Floated pass down the floor. Gilray couldn't find it, and it gets taken away by Luke Keenan. Now it's Adam Perrone in transition. Drops it off for Kiernan. Perrone steps in, stopped by Kells, and the rebound picked up by Mitch Ogilvie. You don't see a ton of offensive opportunities created by Adam Perrone, but we have seen him bury those opportunities in the past, and he just missed on that one. Now a pass in front and a good save by Zach Higgins. All alone in front of the net was Hogarth, trying to tuck it over top of the shoulder of Higgins, but he was able to jump up and make the play. Austin Shanks keeping it away from Thistlewaite. Shanks fires a shot that gets deflected over Kells, and Jensen will pick it up for Peterborough. Taylor Jensen into the corner for Austin Hazen. Gets a screen from Jensen. Now in front of the net. Looking for his third, but he couldn't control the ball as he was falling down to the floor. Now it's Shaykowski in transition. Shaykowski drops this one back. It's controlled by Wesley, and Brooklyn has 15 to shoot. Shaykowski. Tanner Cook. Driving in against Capito. Cross-floor pass. Now in behind the net for Brooklyn. 3 to shoot, and they'll turn this one over at mid-floor. A great opportunity there, but couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. Rob Hellier. Drops this one back. Hutchinson flips that one towards the net. Higgins wasn't ready for it. He'll pick it up and work this one up the floor for Curtis Knight.
Brooklyn's getting those stops that they need, and Peterborough only 1 goal here in this period so far.
Feels like the Lakers are holding their breath a little bit, hoping that Brooklyn doesn't score at the offensive end as Curtis Knight's shot gets deflected and goes wide, but then Peterborough not generating too many good looks offensively. Ogilvie throws his man into the boards and has him pinned up to the wall. Brooklyn's bench wants a call, and that'll be over and back as Mitch Ogilvie with a great defensive play on Brady Kiernan.
And behind the play, Hope and Kiernan went at it a little bit.
We saw Ogilvie set up Jensen earlier in the game in transition, but a tenacious defender for the Lakers is Rob Hellier. Trying to take advantage. Hazen. Catoni. Trying to spin away from Peroni. He gets a screen. Catoni has a lane, and it gets stopped by Higgins. Zach Higgins had Tanner Cook down the floor, but elected to check it down to Shaykowski. And he gets checked. Ball pops free, and away goes Vredenberg. Vredenberg shoots. Turned aside by Higgins, and the rebound into the far corner. Taylor Jensen picks it up, so another possession here for Peterborough. Withers slowing it down. Kyle Waters out there defensively for Brooklyn. He's watching Hiltz. Owen Hiltz fires a shot that goes wide. Rebound pops out in front, and a chance in transition for Byrne as Hutchinson was still down. Now it's Mike Byrne. Cross floor for Robinson. He couldn't get the shot away. Now it's Hope. Speed and intensity, emotions picking up here in the third in this 2-goal game. 11 minutes to go. Game number 1, 7-game series. First to 4 wins goes to the Major Series Lacrosse Final. Hope puts that one through the crease, and losing his stick was Raposo, so he couldn't chase down the rebound. Hope picked it up for a moment before Curtis Knight picked it up on the good job by Ryan Wagner to check it free.
Robert Hope heads off, and he looks to be struggling physically as he hobbled off that time.
Chance for Kiernan, who drives into the legs of Kells, and for the second time tonight, Kells gets taken out in the crease as Connor Kiernan was driving in and took out the Peterborough goaltender. Now they're going to start this play immediately, but they're going to wipe down the Peterborough crease. The front official started the play while the back official still had guys tied up at the Peterborough net. So we're going to slow things down and catch our breath, but my goodness, lots happening here in the last few moments.
And we see it there as Connor Kiernan goes in. Did not get pushed on that one. So a bit surprised to see Peterborough not kind of take exception to that as he cuts around the defender, dives in and goes right towards the legs of Landon Kells. I guess taking a bit of exception with Sturos on that one. And behind the play to our right, there's Landon Kells, who's all right to head back into the net, but Matt Gilray is having a couple words with the official. So you can see him right there coming into your frame right now. There he is. The assistant captain maybe looking for a bit on that last play, but both these goaltenders have been huge in this third period. This could easily be an 18-18 game right now, but we are at 12-10, and Peterborough hanging on to this lead that they started the period with. But Brooklyn's coming hot and heavy, kind of back to that first period feel where it was back and forth, lots of rush chances, and some big-time saves.
We were 6-6 after 1. It was 11-8 Peterborough after 2. It's 12-10 Lakers. And now a penalty going against Peterborough. A foul going against Peterborough. So it's Brooklyn ball in transition. A chance to get a response. Liam Osborne turned aside by Kells. So no worse for wear after that collision with Connor Kiernan. We talked earlier in the period. These games simply might come down to who gets one more save than the other team. That's how close these two teams have been in the regular season. And we're a 2-goal game midway through this third period. Rob Hellier. Back for Hogarth. Cross-floor pass gets knocked away by Robinson and right into the stick of Higgins. Robinson plays this one ahead for Shanks. Austin Shanks drops it back for Connor Kiernan. Brooklyn captain off for Riley O'Connor. Brady Kiernan to his brother Connor. Into the far corner, it's Shanks. With some room, plays it to O'Connor. 5 to shoot. Pass down low behind the back from Tanner Cook, and that gets turned aside by Landon Kells.
Bit of a better look there for Brooklyn. They've been really rushing the ball up the floor and taking their chances off the rush, but I like to see them move the ball around with their offensive guys. It was working really well for them in the first period.
Joe Rezateris into the middle, shoots one wide, and the rebound picked up by Austin Hazen. Catoni rings one off the post. Oh, that one shook iron as well. We saw one in the second period from the Lakers that rocked the net. And that time it was Holden Catoni. Some bullet shots offensively for Peterborough. That one a quarter inch away from going in. Cross floor passing. Hogarth couldn't control it. Now it's Rezateris. Holden Catoni gets the screen from Hiltz. Now it's Hiltz with the ball. Spinning away from the defender. Turned aside by Higgins. And the rebound picked up by the Brooklyn goaltender. Adam Perrone. Riley O'Connor back to Perrone. Turned aside by Kells. And the rebound picked up by Armstrong. Steps away from Waters. Colton Armstrong. Slowing things down, being watched by the big forward for Brooklyn and able to spin away from him. Midway through the shot clock for Peterborough. Under 8 to play here in the third. 2-goal advantage for the Lakers. Hellier. Hogarth. Flips it inside for Hutchinson. His shot bounces wide, and that will be a shot clock violation against Peterborough. Dawson Theed off the bench. 2-on-1 for Brooklyn. And Theed's shot gets turned aside by Kells. Good chance there with Dylan Robinson trailing on the 2-on-1 for Dawson Theed, but elected to shoot. Now it's Rob Hellier. Stepping inside, Hogarth, long shot, he scores! Back to a 3-goal advantage for the Lakers after a long stretch of no goals in the third. Peterborough takes a 13-10 lead as Thomas Hogarth gets the hat trick.
Yeah, you see it right here, getting that pass off the one-handed feed and then takes it low and to the far side around the defender. Makes it 13-10 for Peterborough. And for Brooklyn, it's been a long time since their top scorers have been on the floor, so they got to be well rested here for the last push in this third period. Haven't seen Shanks or the Kiernans in a while, as well as Tanner Cook since they scored that goal, their 10th goal of the game. So look for them to get some floor time next time they get the ball, but as we talked about face-offs, you got to win them to get the ball back, but Peterborough has it here.
And if you don't, you got to get a stop if you're Brooklyn. Rezateris, Hogarth, inside. Hutchinson turned aside by Higgins. Rebound stays in play and picked up by Shaykowski. So good opportunity here for Brooklyn with changes being made. Austin Shanks, Connor Kiernan onto the floor. Connor Kiernan in front, and he gets turned aside by Kells. And now some pushing after the whistle here, as it's going to be Peterborough ball. So another good look for Brooklyn, but they can't convert once again. Joe Rezateris off for Rob Hellier. Hellier into the middle, turned aside by Higgins. Rebound pops out in front. And that gets picked up by Brooklyn. Another chance in transition. Liam Osborne up the floor. Now it's Curtis Knight. Sean Wesley. Back to Knight on the far side, midway through the shot clock. Curtis Knight looking for the slip screen play. Now finds Cook. Driving in. He shoots it just wide, and Wesley can't keep it in the offensive zone. Over and back against Brooklyn, and it's Peterborough ball with 5.5 to go, and they'll wipe down the Peterborough crease after Tanner Cook went down in the Lakers zone.
Well, and here we are with about 5.5 minutes to go. It's a 3-goal game, Peterborough lead, and it will be a full shot clock for Peterborough in the Brooklyn zone. So if you're Brooklyn, you really got to get those stops here. You can't allow any more in really at this point, and you have to capitalize on your chances because you're simply just running out of time. As both goaltenders, you see the empty net there for Peterborough. Kells and Higgins just having a bit of a water break because they definitely deserve it. Both goaltenders making big saves in this game, but especially this third period. Keeping both of their teams in it. More so for Peterborough with that 3-goal lead, 13-10. As Kells checks his net, likes where it's positioned, and relaxes to watch his offensive side of the team try to make it 14-10.
Well, and you mentioned this third period. 2-2. Just about 15 minutes gone here in the third as Rezateris steps in, turned aside by Higgins. But Brooklyn facing an uphill battle at some point. Your Joel Johnson side, you need some offense, and you got to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, you're getting your stops when you need them, just like that one right there.
Brady Kiernan, Austin Shanks, down into the corner. Now it's Riley O'Connor. Tried to go back to Shanks, and he missed him, so that's over and back against Brooklyn. Back-to-back offensive possessions with no shots.
Matt Gilroy with a great play there to knock the stick of Kiernan out of place so he couldn't receive that pass, so the ball ricocheted down to where the play resumes now.
Rob Hellier. And if you're Peterborough, you're now into this. We're going to take some time before we try and take a shot with a 3-goal advantage. Try and kill some clock where you can. Holden Cotone. Hogarth into the middle. Thistlethwaite turned aside by Higgins. Another big stop by the Brooklyn goaltender.
And a good break there as Mike Byrne lost his stick.
Sean Wesley drops this one back. O'Connor finds Kiernan. Now it's Tanner Cook. 10 to shoot for Brooklyn. Cook fires. That goes wide off the far post. Jensen plays it up for Matt Gilray. He's got a breakaway. Gilray turned aside by Higgins. It goes out of play. It'll stay Peterborough ball, but a big stop by the Brooklyn goaltender on Matt Gilray with the transition breakaway.
And it's been 13-10 for quite some time, and you just have that feeling that one more goal for Peterborough would deflate things quite a bit for Brooklyn. So a huge stop there on the break for Zach Higgins.
Under 4 to play in the third. 3-goal lead for the Lakers. Hogarth in front of the net, stepped in the crease, and it's Brooklyn ball.
Again, Brooklyn getting those stops and earning their chances here offensively. Just only 2 goals to speak of in this period.
You know what we haven't seen a ton of is the big guys in front of the Peterborough net. They got Dawson Theed his goal in period number 2. Theed's got it here. He gets knocked off the ball, and that is some swarming defense by the Lakers that forces a third consecutive over and back in as many possessions.
And Peterborough's done that a lot today, I've noticed, really doubling up the pressure when there is pressure to be had there. Austin Shanks very often sees 2 guys on him, and then when there's a chance to knock the ball free, they're not afraid to get 2 or 3 guys in there just to get the ball back.
Hellier. Hazen, Hogarth, Thistlethwaite, Cotone. All 5 Lakers with touches on that possession, and Higgins makes the save on Holden Cotone. And Higgins heads to the bench. We're under 3 minutes to go. 3-goal advantage by Peterborough. 6-on-5 here for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club with the empty net. Kiernan. Wesley Kiernan. Quickly off, Curtis Knight steps in, turns aside by Kells. Now it's played back up top after Shanks picked up the rebound. Wesley gets the screen, gets it back, over the top, goes off the back of the Peterborough net, and the Lakers take over. Peterborough quickly up the floor. Now they'll get Higgins onto the floor a little bit late as Rob Hellier picks up. I was surprised Higgins was on the first one off the bench on the change, but Peterborough goes over and back. Unforced error at mid-floor. Now it's Shanks, but he'll have to start. Now they'll stop play and talk about it. Austin Shanks wanted to go, but this was over and back by Peterborough.
And Joel Johnson saying it was their own player that pushed the ball after the whistle. Wasn't like Shanks kicked it or anything like that to try to advance the ball before the clock started.
Well, and the clock ran for a little bit here. And now they're going to call for a face-off.
Joel Johnson can't believe it on the bench for Brooklyn. So both teams are going to change up who they had on the floor because this is a different situation than offense or defense.
And they're going to put 12 seconds back on the clock. So we'll go to 1:52. Sorry, 13 seconds. But I'm not sure I understand the call as to why that wasn't over and back. Face-off benefits Peterborough as Withers had been so good all game, and Matt Gilray picks up. So what should have been an over and back goes against Brooklyn, and Peterborough going to try and kill off as much clock as possible here. Withers off to Ogilvy. Hutchison off the bench. Matt Gilray. Cross floor picked up by Hope. And he'll float this inside. Hogarth backing down a defender and a behind the back underneath shot goes wide. So a shot clock violation against Peterborough. And a timeout called by Brooklyn.
Yeah, so what would have likely been a 6-on-5 with Higgins pulled with a fresh shot clock in the offensive zone results in 30 seconds killed for Peterborough, and they seemed pretty content with just doing that as well. Not really pressuring or trying to go for a goal, just really killing the full 30 seconds. And both teams looking things over with their coaching staff. First it was Peterborough, now we're seeing Brooklyn look things over.
Things can happen quickly in these games, so it's not over with 1:08 to go here in the third. And a 13-10 lead for Peterborough, but Brooklyn's got to score. And that's the name of the game right now. They had 6 in the first, they had 2 in the second, and now they just have 2 here in the third.
Yeah, the offense has dried up a bit since that first period. But not for a lack of trying and a lack of chances. They've put quite the number of shots on net, but Landon Kells has been great tonight.
1:14 to go in the third at the start of this possession for Brooklyn. Tanner Cook driving in. His shot goes wide. Shanks slowed it down. Ogilvy will pick up. Empty net for Brooklyn. Now it's off to Jake Withers, and he'll ice it. 55 seconds to go in the third. Jake Withers makes it 14-10 Peterborough. And you get the sense that the Lakers are going to take a 1-0 series lead.
And that Jake Withers goal, yeah, he'll be in the goal column on the score sheet, but man, it's been the face-off dot for him tonight. And maybe that's the signs of the lacrosse gods paying him back with this empty netter at the end of the game for the great work he's done in the draw to get the possession back time and time again for Peterborough. Off the missed over and back call, he won that draw to get the ball back and kill some clock. Couple of bounce back goals for Peterborough right after a Brooklyn goal off the draw. And yet again, he's able to get that one back to his team. Great job from Withers tonight. He's got it again. Looking for 2.
You think that's going to be a point of emphasis going into game number 2 on Thursday night in Peterborough for the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club?
I think so. You can't score if you don't have the ball. And how do you get the ball off the opening draw is by winning it.
And we talked about it in the intermission. Pretty even in that first period as Brooklyn turns this one over in the Peterborough zone, and this will all but ice it. 1 second difference between shot clock and game clock as Brooklyn gets it back with under 15 seconds to play. Game number 2, Thursday night at the Peterborough Memorial Center. Pete, Scott, Dan, and the team at Your TV will have the coverage for you. You can watch it here on RogersTV. Game 3 will return back to the Iroquois Park Sports Center on Saturday, but the Peterborough Lakers go on the road in game number 1 and take a 1-0 series lead in this MSL semifinal with a 14-10 win over the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. A high-octane first period, and then Peterborough took over, and a defensive and goaltending dominating performance in the last 40 minutes led them to a 4-goal victory and, more importantly, a 1-0 series lead.
Well, just like the regular season, the away team between these two is victorious. This time it's Peterborough in Game 1 of Round 2. Great game, great foundation for a fantastic series. Still can go either way, and I don't think anybody's sure which way it will go yet.
Peterborough takes a 1-0 lead going on to home floor on Thursday night at the Peterborough Memorial Center. And we will see you back here on Saturday night when the Brooklin Lacrosse Club hosts the Peterborough Lakers for game number 3. Can Brooklyn tie the series at 1, or will Peterborough have a 2-0 series lead? For our producer, John Green, my partner, Andrew Osmond, and our phenomenal crew here at Rogers TV Durham, I'm Jack Moore saying good night from Whippy, and we'll see you on Saturday.